Welcome to Potatoes Part 2. So we've got 3 different kinds of potatoes going. So the timer just went off for our sweet potatoes. And so you remember we made some nice topping for those before. So we're going to go ahead and pull those out. I have put in, meanwhile, I've put in some green bean casserole, and I should have put it in the back since I was going to be working with the potatoes. Let me swap things around here a little bit. So this is our sweet potatoes, and remember we made this really nice topping. And see how it's starting to kind of get hard already. So that's why I was saying if you're going to make it the day before, it's going to get a little bit crispy. Just be prepared to break it apart. So I'm going to put actually all of this on here. And I'm just going to kind of spread it around, that nice goodness. And then this is going back in the oven for 10 minutes, I believe. Let me double check the recipe. I believe it's 10 minutes. Yes. So this is going back in for 10 minutes. I have already put the green bean casserole and the dressing in here as well. I did move the baked potato to that side. Our russet potatoes that are going to become our mashed potatoes, they're also done. So we're going to go ahead and strain these. And what you want to do is you want to go ahead and put them back in the same pan. And then we're going to turn the oven or the stove on just for a moment to get all the steam, the last little bit of the water worked out of it. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and you can turn it down. And then we're going to go ahead and mash these. And some people like their mashed potatoes a little bit creamier than other people. Remember, we've left our skins on because we like some skins, but my mother does not. Now, we had made before some of the rustic herb compound butter. So we're going to add a bit of this. Think about how many potatoes are in there. And then we're going to also add some milk. Okay, and I don't add too much milk at a time. And we're going to go ahead and mash this all together. A little bit more milk. And if you accidentally get too much milk in there, just turn the temperature up a little bit and cook it off. I'm going to put just a little bit more butter in here. Get all that goodness off of that spoon. And then I'm also going to put just a little bit more milk in here. Our mashed potatoes are done. So we're going to let those sit there. Now what I may need to do is I'm going to leave my potato masher out because I may need to add just a little bit more milk before we serve them. Oops, turn that off. Depends on how everything else is going. So let's go ahead and check the yam that we're baking. And it's fry card still, so he may have that for dessert. We can always finish it off in the microwave as well.
And we can have it tomorrow.
We could have it tomorrow. Okay, so I forgot to set another timer. So when that came out, we were supposed to add another, which recipe here? So we needed to take, it's time to take the cover off of the sweet potato, off of the dressing. Looking really quite nice. And then that's going to go another 10 to 15 minutes. And then our our green bean casserole will be done about that same time. Let's check on our turkey. See if I can do this without dumping that potato out. Helps if you turn the thermometer on. You're going to think the battery is dead on it. And when you poke it, you want to make sure that you're not, okay, so we're a little bit overdone. So we're going to go ahead and take the turkey out. So I'm going to leave the oven on though, because I've got that baked potato going in there. You want to make sure not touch the bone, because that's going to give you a false reading. So this needs to set for about 30 minutes. I'm going to move everything to the big oven. Because remember, I was a little bit tight in here. Now you can see why I chose the loaf pan over a round casserole. Okay, and that's still, it's kind of about, it says about 10 minutes, but I'm going to actually add a little bit to that because we had the oven door open. So this is going to about 30 minutes to sit, and then Charles will roast it. Now, for some reason, we didn't get the things out for Charles, so we usually give him, I usually try to clean off the counter space for him. So, and then the Pampered Chef cutting board, you're going to see is quite nice to carve with. And I've got it covered with all of this goodness right now. Done with this. We're going to put the milk away. We're going to leave the butter out just so it stays soft. And we don't need this basting anymore. I keep a towel underneath my cutting board just so it doesn't slip and slide. So I'm going to go ahead and just tuck that away. Charles, you put a slip underneath this? So
I do.
Yeah. So, you guys have all learned that we use these quite frequently. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and put 2 on. Just to make sure. And now it has a nice kind of, an encased, almost like a bowl that the turkey can sit in there. And then that will help maintain the juices. Now the other side has a little juice edge on it. This little edge here, this doesn't hold very much. Okay, you're guaranteed to have juice on your counter with that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and gather up some of my recipes to give them a little bit more space here. I'll be using this for the dressing, and then you're going to use the electric knife, Charles?
Yep.
Now this is interesting. This is the way back of this drawer. We actually picked this up at a garage sale, and it's the same knife that my grandfather and my dad used when I was a kid. Well, not the same knife, but the same one. And you can see it's like from the 60s. Why do you have a preference why you prefer this over a new one, Charles, or have you ever thought of that?
We just never bought a new one. I might consider a cordless one in the future.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that the blades are nice and snug in there, okay? And then we'll set this up over here for him. And I'm not going to plug it in for him in case someone accidentally touches it or whatever. This way he knows it's ready for him. And then I'm going to go ahead and give him a plate to set that on. I'm going to grab that one up, Charles. so he has to hold it with one hand. Some people use a fork. You've heard of a carving fork. Charles prefers to use a silicone, it's actually a mitt that's used to get things out of the oven with. Okay. And do you still use the fork as well?
I need a knife.
A regular knife?
Yeah.
And so do you like
That guy.
this
Yeah.
little,
The little chef's knife.
the little chef's knife? So we'll go ahead and put that here. And do you need anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we're going to want to get this turkey out of our way because we're going to need that to make our stuffing. To make our gravy. So I'm going to get rid of some of these pots and pans that we don't need. This one, of course, has our potatoes in it, so we're going to leave that one there. This one's empty. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can take the turkey over there, which is the way I'm going to do it, or you could bring the cutting board over here. Now, the reason I'm going to take the turkey over there is because that way, if the cat runs in here and I trip or something, I don't have a turkey bouncing across the floor. So I want to put down a hot pad. It's not going to stay there very long, but I'm going to put down a hot pad, or I could just use this towel, actually. And then this is the place I'm going to serve it on, so I don't want to accidentally get on there. I'm going to move his carving devices here. I'm going to give him a plate to put that on. Okay. Now, you can do this a couple different ways. Some people say, oh, I'm going to let the husband do it. Okay.
But he's got the camera.
But he's got the camera. And also, I was raised in a restaurant, and so my hands are a little bit more tolerant to heat than other people. And so I usually just grab the turkey by itself. And of course, then I just put my towel underneath it. So I'm going to check and see if I'm going to be able to do this today. Okay, we want to make sure that it's untucked from the rack. And it's sticking on this side, so I'm going to get myself a fork. Or my is. Well, this isn't the fork I wanted. Come on. Got put with the serving forks, that's fine. Stuck to the rack over here. Now remember, the rack's been in the oven, so the rack is going to be quite hot. It's actually kind of embed itself into the rack. There's a lot of juice in it this time, so I'm going to use 2 forks. Could just use Charles's. You can hear some of that liquid coming out. And I'm going to bring it over there. Okay, so now I'm going to need this to make my gravy. Oh, you're showing off your turkey.
Your turkey.
Okay, so I'm going to need to use this for my gravy. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the rack out. And I've got stuff in the other sink, so I'm going to leave it in this sink. But I don't want all this kind of vegetables and stuff. So I'm going to get a slotted spoon. Oops, there's Charles's heart. Well, not really Charles's heart, but the turkey heart that I forgot to take out earlier for him. And when you do this, you kind of want to leave some of these meat chunks because that's going to give you some of the goodness, but the flat layers and such you don't want. And we don't want any of this celery, onions, carrots. So we're putting all of this in the compost bin. Again, if you don't have a compost bin, I would probably suggest throwing this in your regular trash. And just put it in a plastic bag and tie it up so the raccoons or whatever stays out of it, rather than running it down the garbage disposal. Okay, so now remember, this pan is still hot. It's been in the oven for so long. So we're gonna actually put this on 2 of our burners now. Okay. I forgot one thing here. Okay, so for our turkey recipe, our gravy recipe, I'm gonna not take this by memory. I'm gonna chop it up portions. Okay, so we want about 3 cups of their same chicken broth, but I'm going to use this broth that we had in here because we have a lot of broth left here because we didn't keep basting it and dry and losing that. So, but I don't want all the fatness in here either. So I'm going to move some of these things here. And I have this really cool strainer measuring cup.
Gravy separator.
Gravy separator thing. I've already got most of the chunks out, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this top on so I can make sure I'm not getting any of the rest of the chunks out. So I'm gonna pour this in here. I should have done this over the same side while I was over there. It's all going to fit. I think it's going to all fit. And I'm going to get a paper towel real quick and wipe this side off because I'm going to be cooking on this and I don't want to get any of that grease kind of butter baked on here because one, it'll make my pan difficult to clean later and it also won't smell very good. Okay, so now you can see that the gravy's actually the sauce is actually separate. It's not gravy yet. So I don't really want this top part because that's the butter, the grease. So it had that spout in the bottom. So I'm gonna have my hand in the wrong position. I'm gonna squeeze and let it come out the bottom. Just till we're close to that greasy part. And then I'm just gonna toss this. Let's see if the timer's around here someplace. Okay, so now you're going to see it's going to separate still a little bit more, but it's from this angle, Charles. But it doesn't have. It's mostly the goodness. It's not all of that other debris, so to speak. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put this on 2 burners. You can see also that we don't have the crustaceans that you normally have if you baste the turkey, because if you're basting the turkey, the oven's open, it's drying it out. And so you end up with sometimes with no sauce. So the recipe I think calls for for 3 cups. This is a 4-cup measure cup, so we're right around 2 cups. So remember the stock that we made before. Look at that goodness. So we're going to add this to here until we have 3 cups. A little bit more. And then we're going to put this in the bottom. Okay, then it calls for 2 tablespoons of flour. You're going to go ahead and turn this on because you want this heating. And it's kind of, my pan's just, it's right at the edge where it's almost actually too small this way for my particular burner set. I wonder if I would go the other way. I've always gone this way. I think they're about
They're
the same
squares.
distance.
It should be the
I
same.
think it's the same distance, yeah. So, now the directions don't say to do this, but I find that it works better if I do this. And so, I'm going to take some of this that's warm. I'm going to put it in. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my flour in with this. Okay, This is gonna keep you from getting kind of lumpy gravy. So remember, this is warm because it was with the turkey. So now we're going to take 3 tablespoons of flour. And I'm going to use the tapioca flour again, so it's not going to blend quite as nice as the regular flour would. This one. 2. And 3. Now we don't want to get rid of either of these because we may need more. And then I'm going to take a fork to blend that. So you can see it's all blended. I don't have any lumps. So when I go to blend it with the rest of the gravy, it should blend quite nicely. You can also use, my brain just went dead. You can also use cornstarch if you like. I find it's better with flour. This particular recipe has been really quite nice. It calls to add some fresh thyme. I'm going to see, where's my rustic herb?
The butter or the?
No. My actual rustic herb. I don't know where my char went. There it is. Okay, so it calls for thyme, and it calls for either fresh figs. I don't want to put fresh figs in there because I just got rid of all of this. So I'm going to put, it says about 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme. Actually, I'm just going to go like this. Okay, and then I'm also going to add some rustic herb because I particularly like the taste of it. And that's not coming out quite fast enough for me. Okay. Rid of these. We're going to go ahead and blend this. And I need my brandy, I think, also. Yeah. Okay, and so I'm going to go ahead and start putting this flour mixture in here, but I'm going to put it in slow. Not quite as slow as we did when we made the white sauce earlier, but I'm still going to bring it in slow. I've already mixed the flour in, so I don't have to worry about it lumping. And if you have a bunch of gravy fans like I do in our family, you can take this really nice rich stock that we have, and you can make gravy out of that as well. So we want, okay, the whole thing's twisting.
Uh-oh.
There we go. We want 2 tablespoons of apple brandy. There's 1, 2, oops. Oopsie. I kind of did that on purpose. I don't add too much more, but I did add just a touch more. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend this. Now, normally you would be doing this while your carver is carving the turkey. But because Charles is my camera crew as well as this, so this, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off right now. Okay. It's going to go ahead and start to thicken. And then just as he's done with the turkey, I'm going to turn it back on. But we're going to go ahead and end this session. That our potatoes are ready. I'm going to go ahead and turn the oven off so we can pull those out. But we're going to kind of end this section and we're going to change. And Charles is going to carve the turkey. So happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you in just a moment.